It began with a violent shudder deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, an earthquake near Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. On July 30th, 2025, a magnitude 8.8 quake struck, tying for the sixth strongest ever recorded. This was not just a local event, it was a global one. Within minutes, alarms blared across the Pacific Basin. From Alaska to Japan to Chile, warning systems came to life. A tsunami was possible. Millions faced a threat racing toward them at jetliner speed. For those along the Pacific Ring of Fire, this was the scenario they dreaded. The Kamchatka earthquake set off a race against time technology and human cooperation versus the ocean's power. In Japan, nearly 2 million people were urged to flee to higher ground. Hawaii's sirens wailed, and the U.S. West Coast braced for impact. The quake's epicenter was remote, but its ripple effects spanned an entire hemisphere. This event powerfully demonstrated our world's geological interconnectedness. A rupture in one corner of the planet could send a wave of danger to countless others. The world watched, hoping past lessons would prevent another catastrophe. The epicenter was 74 miles southeast of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, Kamchatka's largest city. At 11:25 a.m. local time, the ground heaved violently, buildings swayed, windows rattled, and life halted. The quake's shallow depth made the shaking severe, but Russia reported no direct casualties thanks to sparse population and strict building codes. Dramatic footage showed doctors in Kamchatka's cancer center gripping their patient and equipment as the operating room shook. Aftershocks followed relentlessly, over 103 above magnitude 6.0, the strongest at 6.9. The quake also triggered an eruption at Klyuchevskaya Sopka, one of Eurasia's most active volcanoes. The most immediate destruction came from the sea. While Kamchatka was spared the worst, the Kuril Islands were hit hard. In Severokurilsk, tsunami waves up to 16 feet crashed ashore, flooding the town and wrecking homes and the port. This localized disaster previewed what many feared for more populated Pacific coastlines. The world braced for what might come next. The chain reaction had only begun. The tsunami warnings were truly Pacific-wide. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center and national agencies issued alerts spanning the ocean. Japan, haunted by the 2011 disaster, ordered mass evacuations, fearing waves up to 10 feet. The U.S. West Coast and Hawaii prepared, with sirens sounding and residents urged inland. The vast distance gave these areas precious hours to prepare. When the waves arrived, their impact was far less severe than feared. In Japan, the highest wave was 4.3 feet. In Hawaii, just under 5 feet. California saw even less. Even Chile, 8,000 miles away, received advisories, proof of the quake's global reach. The warning systems worked. Better to be over-prepared than caught off guard. The Pacific held its breath, but disaster was largely averted. The world's vigilance paid off. The response to the Kamchatka tsunami was a triumph of preparedness and public cooperation. In Japan, nearly 2 million people calmly evacuated to higher ground, following clear government orders. Social media showed orderly scenes, residents walking and driving to safety. One tragic accident occurred, but millions were saved by decisive action. In Hawaii, beaches cleared and shelters opened as communities waited anxiously. The waves proved smaller than feared, and relief swept the islands. Officials' clear communication and public trust were crucial. In Russia, authorities aided the flooded Kuril town amid chaos. The global response was a dance of science, policy, and public participation. Knowledge and planning turned a potential catastrophe into a story of resilience. Preparedness made all the difference. Why didn't the 8.8 quake unleash a monster tsunami? Scientists point to the quake's geology, the fault's moderate slip-limited water displacement. Crucially, no massive underwater landslide occurred, often the cause of devastating tsunamis. The tsunami was generated by tectonic movement alone, sparing the Pacific from greater destruction. The earthquake's depth and coastal shapes also helped weaken the waves. Many coastlines dissipated the energy before it reached shore. The warning system's success was clear: timely alerts, mass evacuations, and lives saved. The system is designed to err on the side of caution, and it worked. The event was a victory for science and preparedness. Sometimes the best disaster is the one that doesn't happen. Kamchatka sits on the volatile Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates constantly collide. The region's history is marked by massive quakes and tsunamis, including Russia's 1952 magnitude 9.0 event. The 2025 quake echoed this legacy, becoming the world's most powerful since Japan's 2011 disaster. Great earthquakes, magnitude 8.0 or higher, are rare but unleash most of the planet's seismic energy. The Ring of Fire is responsible for 90% of earthquakes and most active volcanoes. Stress builds for decades, then releases in violent bursts. The 2025 event was a dramatic reminder. The ground beneath us is always in motion. Understanding this context is crucial for survival. Lessons from past disasters shape today's warning systems and building codes. Heating history saved lives in 2025. The 2025 Kamchatka earthquake and tsunami became a story of success, not tragedy. Investment in science, technology, and public education paid off. The global warning system worked, accurate, timely, and trusted. But technology alone isn't enough. Public awareness and drills made the difference. People knew the sirens, the routes, and the urgency of moving to higher ground. Preparedness is a shared responsibility from individuals to governments. The doctors in Kamchatka's cancer center showed the power of training and calm under pressure. Resilience in all sectors, hospitals, schools, businesses matters. The tsunami was the disaster that wasn't, thanks to decades of hard-won lessons. We can't stop the earth from shaking, but we can be ready. Our safety depends on preparation, not luck.